The violin has held a storied place in much of European classical music. But sometime in the 17th century, it began to intrigue maestros from a very different and ancient musical tradition who then adopted it. This is the story of one American violinist who sought to explore what's become known as the Carnatic violin. Fred de Sam Lazaro has that report from southern India for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
The violinists come from musical traditions as distant as their respective hometowns. Sumanth Manjunath's home is right here in Mysore, a rising star in Carnatic music who has performed across the world. Ariana Kim from St. Paul, Minnesota, Grammy-nominated, a violin professor at Cornell University, far more familiar with the musical scores of Bach or Handel than this raga in the Carnatic tradition, improvised entirely. Kim is spending a sabbatical in India, learning a very different adaptation of her instrument, learning that's taken some unlearning, like posture.
And one of the hard things is to resist the temptation to do what my Western sort of muscles and ear want to do. Like learning how to use these muscles differently and using this muscle differently.
The instrument sits like an inverted cello, resting on the foot, artist seated on the floor. The traditional tambura strings here replicated via a phone app.
You just plug it in and it makes this beautiful drone to play against. And wherever they set that up is their sa.
The sa, another adjustment for Kim, tuning her instrument to the Carnatic scale or raga.
So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si is sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. So they all have a direct equivalent.
Not quite that simple. The scales are, as she puts it, ornamented.
It might sound...
Carnatic music is played mostly in South India, the oldest form of Indian classical music, originally intended as devotional, not necessarily entertainment, and oriented toward the human voice. That likely explains why Carnatic maestros from the 18th and 19th centuries saw the violin as a good fit.
It's like sa.
Kim's 3 weekly sessions are with both Sumanth Manjunath and his father Mysore Manjunath, one of India's most renowned Carnatic violinists, who was away when we visited.
Beautiful, once again. Yes, there is no tension. You can play it peacefully. You don't need to make it a little bit faster. You can also take time when you play maga maga.
The learning here is oral, though she takes copious notes. The ancient ragas, if written at all, were only loosely outlined by their composers. Individual artists improvise and build on them, just as jazz musicians do. It's a big change for a musician's school to faithfully follow notes or scores as the composer wrote them.
I've always had sort of an interest in music from other parts of the world and how symbiotic they can be.
A curiosity likely fed by her professional violinist parents, mom from Ohio, dad from Korea. Here she's tried to soak up the total experience, getting around in auto rickshaws, sampling the food, and nature preserves like this bird sanctuary, a particular favorite of husband Jordan Boersma, an ornithologist also at Cornell. Just as nature inspired thousands of ragas, she says, the experience here will profoundly inform all her work in future.
It inspires new creativity in the way I think about Bach. when I play American bluegrass and old-time music, it makes me think differently about how I might improvise a cadenza in Mozart. And likewise, the similarities between Korean music, which I studied on my last sabbatical, and Carnatic music, how the gamakas function, how you sort of unveil a raga, how you sort of welcome the audience in through an alap. And you have the responsibility of understanding sort of the tone and the feeling. Dr. Manjunath and his son Sumant are just, they're masters at feeling that internal pulse.
Ariana has been grasping all the minute microtones.
Sumant Manjunath was himself complimentary at this recital in the home of a retired Indian diplomat.
The amount of observation that she does about the fingering techniques that we played is amazing.
She'll return home soon and hopes to jam occasionally with Carnatic artists in America, helping preserve memories, including those in the muscles she awakened while learning Carnatic violin. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Fred de San Lazaro in Mysore, India.
Wow!
Just incredible. And Fred's reporting is a partnership with the Undertold Stories Project at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota.